July 4, 1776, America declared independence from Great Britain and formed a new country founded on the American dream, the idea of equality and freedom for all. It is these basic principles that bring us to our story for today. Good evening and welcome to Channel 5 News at 10. My name is Camden and today we'll be taking a deeper look at the American dream and its existence through time.
To begin, we go to Gwen on set with Elise Bingman, a former professor at Yale University and senior citizen, to discuss what the American dream means to her.
First, we'll be talking to Professor Bingman from the University of Yale to talk about the effects the American dream has on America and its definition.
Good evening, Professor Bingman. We start our conversation by defining the American dream as the idea that all men are created equal under the three unalienable rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Professor Bingman is here to tell us more.
Well, the American dream isn't necessarily a concrete understanding, as it can mean different things for different people. In other words, it doesn't mean the same thing to everyone. However, most people can come to the common understanding that the American dream is the concept that America provides an equal opportunity to better status in any area of life and to all people without discrimination.
So what do you think brought the idea that there was prosperity and hope for the search of a better life in America?
I think it was the fact that there was just cheap available land and new and good paying jobs and an opportunity for people to discover a new life for themselves. And their children. Many people who moved here exaggerated the aspect of wealth and opportunity by stating that the streets of New York were paved with gold, which spread the idea that this was a place where the poor could become wealthy.
Why do you think, as a believer, that the dream is dead, that there are many people who come here to get rich and famous anymore, or even just migrants to find a better life for their kids?
That has been because of the growth of racism. We have to understand that even though we can say that we believe in equality for all people, it isn't necessarily true unless we show it in the daily lives of people in America. We see violence against minorities even today, and I think that's why there's been such a decline of minorities moving to the States. People aren't even allowed into a country that was supposed to bring them freedom and prosperity, but we still claim the American dream is there. It may not be completely dead, but it needs to be the dream it used to be.
Thank you so much for your time and insight into this conversational topic, Professor Bingman.
Thank you for having me.
And now to Professor Lincoln to discuss how the American dream affects today's generation.
So the plan of the average American in, let's say, the 1920s was to move westward to buy a big plot of land and establish a farm with a white house and a white picket fence to create a large family. Most young adults today, however, don't have that same idea when they think about settling down. Their idea of the American dream is to get a good paying job after finishing college, maybe moving to a big city or the countryside, and maybe even getting married or have kids.
Interesting. So over the last millennia, not just the idea, but the execution of the dream has changed. So, Mr. Lincoln, what do you think the reason is for this change of the new generation of people?
I don't think it was one singular event, but the evolution of trends and popular movement patterns. People change when they feel they need to adapt, and I guess this is one of the most adapted generations America has seen in a while.
With such a progressive generation, do you think the American dream will be less discriminatory and bleak as the previous generations?
Yes, I do think there will be a change in the racist culture that America has adopted over time. The American dream has been crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination over the past generations. However, with more open-minded leaders in office and in the country, I think America has the potential to be a welcoming space for all the freedom-speaking people around the world.
Well, that's all the time we have. That's all we have time for. But thanks for your ideas on the topic. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Anytime. Thank you.
Now back to the studio.
Well, that was all very interesting and informative interviews. Thank you, Gwen. As highlighted by Ms. Bingman, the American dream has a core meaning, but is perceived slightly differently by each person based on their own core ideas and beliefs. Over time, racism has had a negative effect on the American dream, causing it to become quote-unquote lost. Then we talked to Ms. Lincoln and learned that the American dream, although it has shifted from its original meaning of equal opportunity, can return to its former glory with the aid of newer generations.
Wow, quite a story. And this wraps up today's show. Hope all the viewers out there enjoyed. See you tomorrow at 6 for an early bird traffic update. This is Camden from Channel 5 News signing off for tonight.
Have a good night's sleep and we'll see you tomorrow morning.